This is the whole problem with the fine tuning argument. In summary, in essence, even if we allow for the possibility, or we assume into possibility, that all of the constants in the universe and in physics basically point to a designer, if we assume that and we grant them that argument, then we still have a fundamental problem that exists within all of this, which is essentially that science cannot help you take a religion and say that this religion is false. This deity didn't isn't responsible for the creation of the creation of the universe. This is meant, an abstract thought to represent, a variable, essentially, and within this variable we can take any deity and plug them into the variable, and that could potentially be the designer that was responsible for the creation of the universe. Like, anything can go inside that box. An intelligent designer could be anything. It could be the big cat in the sky, it could be the flying spaghetti monster, it could be Yahweh, Brahman, Zeus, it could be, Neptune, it could be any number of the Greek gods, it could be, like, you just don't know. Like, this designer could be potentially anything, and you can plug any of them in, and every single one of them will work just as well as any other. And that is the ultimate problem with the fine tuning argument. It cannot end religious disputes. It cannot eliminate religions and say that these are fundamentally false religions. Any theist and their god could necessarily go inside that box, and it would be an equally, valid. The math would be equally valid if, you grant these assumptions. Like, literally. So you've got a massive, massive glaring problem that even still, even if the sample size that we have is only one, basically, and we're not entirely sure, that this configuration wasn't probabilistic, because we don't have other samples to determine if it could happen any other way, and things, if it isn't necessarily directed down this pathway. So we don't really know that it is finely tuned. But if we do grant that assumption, if we go there, then and then we go to it must have been designed, we can still plug any potential designer into that designer box as a variable, and it comes out valid. So you've got a problem with the fine tuning argument in a big way. Like, that goes so much. That is such a fucking, much bigger problem than I think. Asking the question of whether it is, if it is finely tuned or not. The fact that literally any designer can be plugged into that variable and it would come out equally valid is going to be a problem fundamentally, and it points to the fact that those of us that are inclined towards skepticism should perhaps start building fallout shelters rather than, arguing with these people, because, I predict that there will be more sectarian and religious violence as science does not have the answers that it would require to end these disputes.